Absolutely.
It's like Obi-Wan, isn't it? That's
Yes.
amazing. James, you mentioned in the documentary that the photos and videos were like a memory of the landscape.
Yeah.
Could you talk about that a little?
Yeah, I'm still processing this whole connection between memory and this project, and its new notions are coming almost on an hourly and certainly a daily basis. But you know, the big story about memory in these pictures is that what we have seen out there and what the cameras have recorded out there and what the cameras are still recording even to this day out there, that's disappeared, or it's in the process of disappearing. And the landscapes are evolving into some completely different modality. We don't know where it's going, but we have preserved through this project the memory of something that is either vanished or is vanishing. And that's a really miraculous thing, you know. Very elementary academic photography 101, they talk about a camera as a memory device, and we all understand that. You use a camera for snapshots of your family members. But I never really understood the power of photography as a memory holding medium until I went out there on those first downloads on those cameras, and I'm looking through the pictures that are on the card, and I realize what I'm looking at now, 3 months after we started, is radically different from what was here 3 months ago when we started to get those pictures. And my Lord, it's gone, and it's never coming back. And we got it. And that was a really magical, powerful experience. Still is.
I really remember that moment when we were shooting that in Mendenhall,
yeah.
and you pull that memory card out, and that's where you had that realization.
Ba-boom,
that
yeah.
That's the scene in the film. And
you know, where I'm holding the card up and I'm talking to the camera. It may never be seen again in the history of civilization. It was that day. Jeff and I were there together.
And both of us, after he said that, we were like, where did that come from?
Yeah.
And it was like, that had such resonance.
But that was it. That was the heart of the whole matter.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think this is something we haven't really discussed, but James has influenced my perspective on history and posterity and the power of image for history in the same capacity. He's somebody who studied how the landscape formed, with how mountains formed over time, and so how glaciers are changing over time seems like a fast-forwarded time frame of that larger picture.
It's a subset of
it's
that
a
much
subset
bigger
of that,
picture.
and we're talking about such large geologic time frames, but they're so real to us now, and it's something that I never thought in that fashion, that the planet is changing as fast as it is. And I know just in my own life, in my own kind of perception of the power of imagery, like another book that comes to mind, Annie Leibovitz's book on her family and her partner passing away, and it's an incredible photography book, and these are all personal moments and personal memories that have such resonance there, and with your thoughts planted in my head and seeing books like that, it really strengthened in my mind the value of what documenting stuff can be. This is history in the making right now, and when you can find those stories, you need to just document them.
Yeah, one of the strengths of the film, I think, as a viewer, is that you've used these guys as characters too, to help us. You become our avatar in a way out in the landscape, and I mean, such a powerful effect as an audience member. You could feel it in the cinema when things were. You could see these things happening, and I just wondered, for you, just being there, actually really there in that landscape, what sort of emotions were going through for you at different times?
It's very complicated, incredibly complicated emotionally, and contradictory things are happening simultaneously when I'm out there seeing some of this stuff. There's one part of my brain, the photographic observer, is saying, this is spectacular, this is dramatic, this is beautiful, I'm glad I get to be here at this moment and I can record it. So it all seems like a privilege, and it all seems really great, euphoric, like, wow, look at what we saw. At the same time, another part of your brain is saying, God, this is horrific, this is terrible, this is not good news for the future of the world, for the future of civilization, for the future of nature. And so you have these two polarities, colliding and clashing and pulling each other apart and smashing back together again. And it's not necessarily a very comfortable feeling. You know, when you go in at the end of the day and you look at what you have, bad things sometimes seem victorious. But also what happens is we're getting to see, aside from the question of when the glaciers are capping, we're getting to see incredible beauty. You know, I'm doing a book right now. We're in final layouts. It'll be going off to press in 3 weeks. A big coffee table book on the art and architecture of ice. And it's primarily a celebration of this incredible, you know, visual beauty of these changing landscapes. And so we're also capturing that at the same time. And that really is exhilarating to you know, come around a corner in a crevasse somewhere and look at something and go, my God, it's unbelievably beautiful. I never imagined that anything like that could exist. In fact, I haven't said this at Sundance at all in any of these discussions, but you know, after 3 years or so of working on this project, I got to the point where I thought, oh God, do I have to go to Alaska again? Or, oh God, what am I going to do in Greenland this time? Surely I've shot everything I could possibly shoot. And honestly, every single time we go, you suddenly discover something that it never occurred to you before. No matter how much we had seen, there was something new to discover and explore. I mean, literally right down to the very last shoots this year in the Alps and in Iceland. The very last shoots before the book went to press, Iceland and Alaska are some of the very best pictures I've shot in my entire career, and certainly some of the very, very best ones in all of BIS. Just right down to the final wire, when I was sure everything was done. Some of the best pictures that are going to be in the book were shot in the last hour that we were at Iceland. We were there for 2 weeks. The last hour yielded about 6 pictures in a row, just bam, 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 bam. Magic. It's fantastic
because
when
there
that
are
happens.
an infinite number of shapes that those icebergs will take, and an infinite number of combinations of how they'll be based on the different environments there.
Or you see things better or more truly, or, you know, in this case, I think it was because my daughter and my wife were on the beach with me.
Right.
You know, and there was some other electricity in the air that was around, you know, family and history and time and relationships, and somehow the electricity that wound up getting embedded in some of that ice in those pictures.
Jeff, what were your main aims for this documentary, socially and aesthetically, and do you think you pulled it off?
I think whether or not they've been pulled off is yet to be determined, but
in your mind,
I think that the main goal for us is to have the film be seen by as many people as possible. It's eyeballs. It's really trying to take James's story and take the story of the ice and climate change and really share that as much as possible. I'd say more than anything that will be kind of the success for us, hoping that it really can get out there and get seen. To the degree that the film can have impact and potentially change policy or influence, you know, the American perception around climate change, we hope that it can accomplish that, and I guess we'll just see over time how that shapes out.
And is that same for you, James? What
Oh,
you hope
absolutely.
people will come away with from this? Yeah.
I want people to be moved, you know, to really get it in their hearts and their minds, and be able to recognize that we're living through a period of really epic change on the planet, you know, and that this is not an abstraction for the future. This is happening now.
Terrific, guys. That's
Cool.
really great. Thank you.
Sure, thank you.